Hey everybody, welcome to It Tastes Different Game Reviews. Today we're going to review Ghostwire Tokyo. Ghostwire Tokyo was released March 25th of this year. It's a action adventure game by Tango Gameworks. And published by Bethesda Software. It is a PS5 only game. It was exclusive, I should say, but it'll end up going to Microsoft eventually. Um, it's a different game. It's not that I was expecting. So I'm going to go to Nick first to get his thoughts because I already know a hair bit of Pat's. So let's go with Nick. Nick, what do you think about the last Bethesda game to go to PlayStation for a while?
This game is I kind of have a love and hate with it. It's an okay game. The the story so far, and it's not a very long. Well, this game has 6 chapters. I am on chapter 4, so there's only 2 chapters to go. The story so far is not very interesting. I don't think personally you'll have much of an investment in the story. And that's unfortunate because I like the idea of where they're going with this. Basically you have, you get, your character gets, I don't know, possessed by a cop, a detective that's dead, but he has his ghost around. He gets possessed by him, and the ghost has special powers, right? You basically become the last airbender at that point, and and that's cool though, because you get to do these really cool powers with your hands, like the wind and you get water power, and you get fire, and you can throw talismans and do all sorts of hand symbols like you're playing an episode of Naruto or something. And so those are really cool, and the enemies are really cool looking too, and the Tokyo where you're at and the game is really nice looking as far as that goes. There's a ton of stuff to do, right? And when I say a ton of stuff to do, it's mainly collectible stuff that you collect. So it's a lot of these spirits, and there's like 1,000 million bajillion of them that you can collect, and they're all over the freaking place. You can collect shrines and various things like that, and we'll talk about some of the other stuff, but there's a lot of collectibles, and there's side quests, and then you have your main story quests. I like the going around and collecting everything is fine, I guess. It's very tedious and repetitive. I think the side quests, some of the side quests, and this is the unfortunate thing, is the side quests are good because they're quick and easy, right? Usually when you go to a side quest, you activate it there, and like 2 feet away from you is where the objective is, right? But they're all kind of follow the same step type or setup and situation, except for, now granted I haven't done all the side quests yet, but up in chapter 4 there are 2 side quests that were really cool and different than all the rest of them, and I wish it had more of those, because those were really cool and really unique, and like, but you had to get all the way to chapter 4 just to see them, and that's the thing that sucks about it, because all the rest of them you're going to be doing kind of more like fetch quests and various things like that. So I like the atmosphere, and there's a lot of things I like about the setting and the idea. I think the execution might have. I wish they would have went a different way with this game. It's kind of open world. You do open the world slowly through these Torii gates, so you open the world like kind of slowly as you unlock those, and so you have, you're not. It's not quite Assassin's Creed where everything's open and it's like, do all this crap. It's kind of like, hey, do all this crap, but in this area, right? Right. As you open up these gates. So, And it gives you a lot of ways to get these things accomplished. There's Tengu that are flying around in the sky that you can warp up to, little flying bird yokais. It's all yokais and stuff, and visitors is what they call the bad guys. So for me, I don't know. It's really a love-hate. Like I like some aspects and I don't like other aspects. I think the story is not very interesting. So I know what's going on in the story, but I'm just like, I don't really care. So it's kind of like in the middle, right? I'm kind of in the middle of like, it's an okay game. That's really what it is. I have been playing through it, not just for review, but also because I think for me personally, the whole reason why I'm playing with it and sticking with it is because I have nothing else to play currently. So that's just kind of like something right now. If I had something better to play, I may have ended up transferring over to something else and probably come back to this game here and there, but I'm sticking with it right now because I don't really have anything else. I beat Elden Ring, so like I could play through that again, but I've already experienced that, even though I probably will play through it again. But I want to just kind of get through this and until something else comes out. But that's what I think. Pat, what about you?
Ubisoft Junior, anybody? That's what these guys have become. They basically turned Assassin's Creed into a linear game, but when Tokyo with freaking hand signals and yokai and finger guns, and I mean, it's a boring game, and the story is boring. It is extremely repetitive. It's like, go to an area, unlock the Torii Gate, grab all the crap you can around the area, side quests included, because it's a collectible mashup game that is 11 hours to 15 hours to do the story. That's it. $60 game. That is worthless as a game. The only way that they extend the time frame out is that they make you go do all this side crap. Now the side quests are kind of boring in the sense too, because it's like, oh, Spirit needs help, go do this, and you get stuff and things like that. It is quite boring. It's just rinse and repeat. The combat is it's dull combat. Like, I was expecting when we got to the first boss to be doing some cool crap, like some flips and dodges and crap. But no, it's pretty much just sidestep, charge, boom, sidestep, charge, boom, sidestep, charge, boom, block. And I'm like, this is boring as boring gets. And so I had a hard time with it. I got to chapter 3. And I don't have anything else to play except for I made other stuff to play. I couldn't get through it. I mean, I tried to play all weekend and I'm like, I could just get through chapter 3 so I can give a good, decent review. But I spent half my time petting the dogs in the game. That's about what I did. It really is super boring. I mean, it's a little bit difficult at certain times, but the only reason it's difficult is because the controls are just dumb. Like, there is nothing but like perfect parry. There's no dodge. You don't dodge at anything. You just block, parry, shoot your finger pistol at them, or charge it up, with your different powers. Do I want to go with the super powerful fire spell? Do I want to go with the mid-range water spell? Or do I want to go with the really pansy, air spell? Or do I want to throw out some of the stun crap and things like that? I mean, this game is quite boring. It's getting not great reviews, but it's not getting bad reviews. I would give this game mid-range at best reviews, in my opinion, because it's boring. Combat's a slog. It's rinse, repeat. Every freaking Torii Gate is the same thing. Same thing. I mean, it's stealth your way up to the enemies, try to take out a couple of them stealthily, then whip out and just go to town with your abilities, It's finger pistols and yokai. That's really what this game should have been called. Shane, what do you think, man?
I would agree with the $60 price. It's not worth $60, mainly because of the time of it. I mean, 12 to 15 hours for a game is not a $60 game. It's just not. They do pad it up with the collectible stuff. The side quest I enjoy, though. I've done several of them so far. Some of them are repetitive, definitely. I have to agree with that. But some of them are pretty neat. I think Nick's probably missed a few of them in the first few chapters playing through, because I found some pretty interesting ones. But there's more skill to the game than just, here's my finger, boom, boom. going to finger bang you. No, there's a little more than that. I think your interpretation of it's
I
a
beat
little
every
more
boss
lenient.
and I beat every major guy up until now with just like perfect parry, finger pistol, perfect parry, finger pistol. That's it. And sidestepping. I mean, what more to combat is there than that?
Well, you got your talismans you can use. I mean, your stealthing stuff is pretty cool. I mean, I could throw
You mean your
brushes out
bow?
now. No, your talismans, your
Oh.
stun, your bow, your.
But the talisman's
what's
not a
that one I can't
stealth
remember.
ability. It's a combat ability. It's like
No, you
stun
can.
them.
But one of your talismans is for stealth.
Man.
You can throw a crap out to sneak around and then
The bush.
assassinate.
I want to hide the bush. Let me throw out the bush so I can hide in the bush.
Hey, it got me through areas, so I'm happy with it. I don't think the game. Now, the one thing I do like is the map. I love the way they set the map up. Like Nick said, when you want to go do a side quest, it's right there. It's not a big slog. It's very reminiscent of when we were talking the other day of Ghost of Tsushima. You never really had to go far to handle anything, and the side quests were quick and easy. Whether or not they were the greatest or the worst, that's going to be an opinion. But the location of them, the timing of them was great because if you want to pop in and do a few of them, get a little XP built out of it. Great, it's easy to do. So that's one thing I really liked about it. I don't know. I'm not as good. I'm not going to be as hard on this thing as these two, especially Pat. But it's a $40 game at most, just due to the time of it. The graphics are really nice. I think the controls are fine. They're nothing spectacular. I agree with Pat though. It really doesn't make a sense to not have a dodge though. Dodge seems like a give in for this type of game. The shield thing is cool and it works fine, but it seems nonsensical to not have a dodge. But I think the game overall is solid. I would pay $40 max for this game. I would like to see DLC, but my biggest complaint is the advertisements and a little bit that I remember of it from release or announcement to release had more of a horror feel to it. And this is not a horror game whatsoever. It's about demons and possessions and blah, blah, blah. But there's nothing scary about this thing. Your little intro cutscene was about as scary as it got. And, I'm kind of disappointed by that. I don't want an open world game like this. They do, just fine job. But I wanted a story focused, Resident Evil-y kind of, scare the shit out of you a little bit kind of a game. But I didn't get that. That was probably my biggest disappointment. I think it was a little bit, I won't say false advertising. I'll just say misrepresented it slightly. Because, what they showed seemed more horror-y to me. I would like to see a sequel to it, but fix a lot of things, add a few things that, were missing really. Dodge is like the biggest one. I enjoy it though. I'll definitely end up finishing it just because I think the story is pretty interesting. The characters I like, the bad guys you deal with are really cool, especially when you do assassination scenes. You get really, really neat little graphics from it. Problem is it takes too long. It's kind of a slog to get new enemies. So you take out the same one 20, 30, 40 times, it gets kind of repetitive there. But some of the enemies are really cool though. The main boss, I just like the overall design. But it's not going to be everybody's game, and that's unfortunate because Tango makes some really cool stuff. Evil Within 1 and 2, I never got to beat the second one, but I really enjoyed those. Those gave me a real classic horror, and that might be one reason I was expecting the horror aspect of it from what they've previously done. So, but I think overall this is going to be a hit or miss for most people. It was a clear miss for Pat. It was a graze for Nick. Nick got grazed by that spirit finger.
Yeah.
And for me, it was a little bit more than that. I definitely give it a $40, but that's about as high as I could ever go with this kind of game.
I mean, you guys have done more bosses than I. The bosses seem underwhelming, very underwhelming. Like the first, like I don't even know what I would call that. The first like boss, the one that actually you run into at the end of chapter 2-ish.
Mm-hmm.
He's very dumb. He just sits there and he walks back and forth and he charges a little thing and you just keep walking sideways and you dodge it and then he jumps in the air and he does this little harpoon thing down on the ground. You're just like, it's rinse and repeat. You just perfectly parry his move and hold your thing and shoot him. I mean, it was just the same thing over and over. It wasn't a challenge. Like I did side missions that were more of a challenge than that boss was.
I will agree with that. As the side missions, I had more difficulty than the boss, because once you realize, after the first 2 times he does that same pattern, it doesn't change. The next boss was much better, but it was still Mario. Once they do their pattern, you figured it out.
Right, and that's probably part of the problem that I have. It seemed very repetitive to me. The game was extremely repetitive because I found every time I would go into the area, I'd be like, okay, I got 4 different enemy types. I've got the guy in the suit. I got the little chick that jumps around with no head. I got the little screamer girl. I got the little flying guys, and then I got the mage chick. And I'm like,
yep.
Target priority, because they do the same move over and over and over. And I'm like, okay, so I know how to tackle these guys. And then, but it seemed like it's very repetitive because I would cleanse the Torii, take those people out, cleanse the Torii gate, go around, suck up all the spirits I can, see if I can find some shrines to pray at so that I can increase the damage of my stuff, and then run around and look for any collectibles that I have to give to the umpteen different yokai that want me to collect this collectible for them, or these 6 collectibles, and those 4 for him, and the 7 for him. And I'm just like, you're damn cats. Go out and find your own damn shit. Or to go out and find all the damn freaking trash pandas. I'm like, I don't care if you missed your troop. Go find them yourself.
Yeah. Now most of those collectibles I have just ran into. So I don't even look for the collectibles for the cats. I'd be, oh well, shit, there it is. Boom, I'll just take it to them later, and I end up walking right by them damn cats 100 times. One thing I will give that game credit for is where you do your leveling up at the phones. There's one everywhere. I mean, you don't have to travel far. So that was like one of their smartest things, and the save anywhere aspect, because I hate not being able to save when I can't, when I want to. So, I mean, what about you, Nick? Would you want a sequel if they fix some of your issues?
Yes, but in a certain way. I would rather it be like The Evil Within than an open world.
Yes.
Because that's what I was hoping for. I was hoping for some like supernatural Evil Within type game, because they did make Evil Within 1 and 2, and I like those games, and those are scary and spooky and very more on the linear side. And so that's what I was hoping with this one. And this one is more open world, and it's not scary at all, right? It's just not. And it can be repetitive with the fights and stuff like that. And there are way too many collectibles. The nice thing, though, is the map will tell you pretty much where everything's at. If you go up to the cats, you can activate all the stuff they request, and it will show up on the map as it's in this location as a little yellow circle. So you can just teleport. There is fast travel, so you can teleport to the Torii gates or to the cats and go and collect these items. And they're usually not that difficult to find. Usually they're on the ground somewhere in some sort of corner, or they're on top of the roof. The other issue I have with this game, though, is the some ghosts and some things have you do hand symbols like this or that. That is the most unresponsive crap. Fortunately enough, they have an option, let KK do it, which is the guy that possesses you. You can pretty much hold square and have the computer do the symbols for you, or you can use the touchpad to do them yourself, or the right stick. The only problem is half the time it tells you the symbol is go right. Well, you click right and it's going, and then it starts over because you waited too long. I don't know how many times this happened to me, to the point where I got so pissed off. From now on, I just have KK do everything because it doesn't respond. Now that is something definitely that they could patch up. it feels like there's some sort of bug with that where it's not responding to your movements on the touchpad or the right triggers or the right stick sometimes. So that's I don't have a problem with. As long as they have, I'm glad that they have the ability to let the AI do it for you. So that's a good thing. But yeah, if they were to do a sequel, I would like for them to change course and make it more of a linear horror than open world. What they're doing now, I'd rather them change course with it because I like the idea and I like the atmosphere and the setting and everything like that, and I like the cool powers. Right, expand on the powers, do a little bit more with that, and make it more of a linear. Make it an amusement park, make it a horror amusement park, right? Give us a theme park ride, send us through the horror maze. You know what I'm saying? That's what I want to do. Jump scares and all sorts of horrifying stuff. I mean, because we're talking about demons and devils and possession and stuff like that. Like, really give it that feeling of scariness, because the game has zero of that. Nothing is scary in this game.
Right. Yep.
No, absolutely.
That's the thing I like about the game is the use of the controller. I mean, they do the sounds in the controller, but I would agree. Doing those stupid signs with the touchpad is garbage. The touchpad is not responsive enough for that.
Yeah, I never got touchpad.
I did the controller. I did the right stick every time. And I didn't even notice the button that said KK, let KK do it. I'm like, crap, I would have been doing that the whole time because it is kind of annoying. It's like, and if you stop or catch somewhere in that little time, he stops and you're like, can't get back to where you were. And he just resets. And I'm like, but, I think that I tried the touchpad like 4 or 5 times. I'm like, if it's not a simple sign, touchpad's garbage because it doesn't pick up me making a circle or anything on it.
Yeah.
So I do like that they added the sounds to the controller. I like when companies use the controller, develop against the controller, because I think that's its coolest feature. Little speaker on the controller allowing the little ghost sound to come through when KK's talking is pretty cool, and stuff like that, and hearing sounds through the controller. Not to mention that when you're searching for the collectibles for the cat, the controller meows when you get close to it. Yep. And I'm like, and I'm like, okay, cool. I'm near that. That's cool. But half the time I'm like, I don't give a shit. I'm moving on. I'm not looking for your damn collectibles. Just like I'm not looking for the Groot's family while I'm out there running through the world. He can find his own family.
Yeah, my biggest problem probably with the controller, I loved everything about what you were just saying, except for I wasn't a fan of the haptic feedback use. When you do your finger bangs, you get this kind of a little hesitant, and then it clicks once it releases your power, and then you get that sound. It sounds like a Yahtzee cup or something. It just didn't work for me.
It does it a lot more when you're pulling out their souls with the soul lasso.
Yeah,
it's like
exactly.
Gives that resistance for a second and
yeah. Click. Got it. Yeah, it's that was one of those things. I'm not a big fan of the haptic feedback, but it might be because I haven't played a game that really, to me, makes a good use of it. Ratchet and Clank, it had some really stupid uses for it. I did not like the resistance on a lot of those weapons that you use. But, maybe there'll be a game that'll come out and blow my mind with it. I don't know. Maybe resistance, whatever. So, but you guys got anything else about this, sir? We're about ready to end this possession.
Yeah, I don't want any more open worlds.
Yeah, same. I mean, I would, if anybody's on the fence about picking this game up, I would probably wait for it to go on sale and then snag it. Or like Shane said, if you have an Xbox as well, whenever, maybe a year or so. I mean, because they do own Bethesda, which owns Tango Gameworks. So about a year or so, this game will end up coming to Game Pass. So you can just wait for it to jump on there and play it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I definitely agree. It's not worth the 60, so just wait for a sale or wait for Game Pass. So, all right. Well, guys, thanks for listening. Make sure you hit like and subscribe and notifications, all the good stuff. And give us your feedback. We love feedback. We love comments. We love questions. Give us your best shot. We did one with GTA. A guy gave us a really interesting comment, and I was happy to see that. So bring on more of them. We can't wait to hear it. And let us know if you played this and what you think of it. Are we right? Are we wrong? How wrong is Patrick? Let us know. Anyways, we will see you guys next time. See ya.